Nearly 2 decades in the making, the Avatar sequel has arrived. James Cameron's follow-up to the highest-grossing film ever, expecting a monster $175 million opening weekend.
Do it.
Just breathe. Breathe.
I'm trying. I'm just so excited. The Way of the Water currently has an 82% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's discuss it with Paul Dergarabedian, Comscore senior media analyst, and our own Allie, Canal. Paul, great to see you. This movie looks outstanding. I cannot pretend that I'm not biased and excited to see it. Have you seen it? What do you make of the early reviews and estimates?
Well, I am seeing it in about an hour from now, so check back with me about 4 hours after that, because it's a 3 hour and 12-minute movie. The buzz on this movie is off the charts. I've talked to people. It's like they've been inhabited by something when they come out of the movie. They're like on this sugar high. And a long movie like that, you would think, oh, people come out exhausted. Seems like people just want to go back and see it again. That's great news. And as you said in the teaser here, this will give James Cameron his first $100 million domestic opening. Believe it or not, that's a great trivia question. His highest grossing opener domestically was the first Avatar with $77 million. So he's going to obliterate that opening record for himself this weekend for sure, Dave. For sure.
And Paul, I want to jump in here and pick up on that point. Only $77 million in the opening weekend, and then the film went on to become the highest grossing film of all time.
That's right.
So talk to me about how could this be a more slower burn? Obviously, the appetite is there, but will it be different than some of the Marvel Avenger films that we've seen?
Well, Allie, you make a great point, because when you look at Cameron's career, he's a marathoner. He's not a sprinter, both in terms of his output of films, but also in terms of box office. For example, Titanic, which we all know and love, opened in mid-December, like Avatar, the first one, and this Avatar, to a mere $28.6 million. It wound up with over $600 million domestically. That's a 21 times multiple, meaning of that opening weekend, it went on to earn 21 times that in North America, but over 1.8 billion worldwide. Avatar ranks as the highest grossing film of all time worldwide with close to 2.9 billion. But you're absolutely right. It may be a slower burn. It's a long movie, although I don't think that's going to hurt its potential this weekend, because what theaters are doing is they can open up every screen or every auditorium to The Way of Water, because the demand will certainly be there. And we're already seeing that in the numbers. So I'm really excited to see it. I know a lot of people are. And the movie industry needs this movie right now. We've had a slow post-summer period. Wakanda Forever was #1 for 5 weekends in a row. And now we're looking for Avatar, The Way of Water, to take over that mantle.
Yeah, and the buzz and the reviews will likely help with that opening weekend performance. And talk to me a little bit about the China aspect of this all. China has been very notorious with rejecting films. The Way of Water did get that green light. But is there potential risk, especially with China's zero COVID policy?
Well, I think that those exterior forces could come into play. But I think most importantly for the movie is that by getting a movie like Avatar into China, and remember, China for the first film was the second biggest market for the original Avatar film. So this is very important. And IMAX and 3D large format play a huge part in this. And in China, that's the second biggest movie market in the world. So it's a big benefit for Avatar, The Way of Water, to have China in the mix. No question. When they announced that, that was big news for the film. And with Cameron looking for one of the top grossing films of all time to add to his already illustrious box office career and to greenlight the next 3 installments, you're going to have to make a lot of money on this one. This is not an inexpensive film, and this is a long-term commitment. This is a legacy project for Cameron. So the stakes couldn't be higher.
Yeah, it essentially has to be the highest gross film ever just to make any money. The next blockbuster,
for sure.
The next blockbuster could actually be college football. Cinemark is pairing up with ESPN to show the college football playoff. How does this work? Could it open the door to more sports in movie theaters?
Oh, Dave, this is absolutely incredible. Movie theaters need content. They need movies, but they also love, especially midweek and even on the weekends, to have great, what we call alternative content. for their screens. We've seen this with Fathom events, Trafalgar, Iconic. We've seen a lot of events like this. Met Opera. If you want to see an opera, you can go to your movie theater. If you want to see Coldplay or BTS, you can see those groups in a theater, the musical groups. And so that's really a great thing. Video gaming is big. There was a League of Legends event that people were able to go to the movie theater to watch or play video games, and that's huge for theaters. Sports is a new frontier, I think, both for the streaming side of things and also for movie theaters. Live sports, it could be huge. The potential there is quite amazing.
And Paul, with that, when we close out 2022, head into 2023, what sort of lessons have we learned? And with those opportunities, sports, maybe even more streaming exclusives in the box office, where do you think we go from there?
Well, I think the lesson learned is that you need a lot of movies and you need them coming out evenly on the release calendar. So for instance, in our Comscore data, we've shown this year to date, we have 38 fewer wide release films than we had in 2019. That's a lot of movies. That's potentially $1.5 billion worth of domestic box office. So next year it looks a lot more evenly spaced with, Ant-Man coming out in February, John Wick after that. You've got Mission Impossible 7. You've got some really big movies, Indiana Jones 5. I could go on and on. So many big movies, but the lesson learned is if you build it, they will come. I know it's a cliche, but when the movies were out there in the summer, we saw the box office explode, but there weren't as many films in the post-summer period. And thus we saw the box office drop and perhaps people migrating home to watch content on TV. But if it's out there in the theaters and it's appealing, like Avatar, like Puss in Boots Yet to Come, the Whitney Houston movie, there's some really good movies on the horizon, and Babylon, of course. I think those movies will draw people to the theater now and into 2023 and beyond.
Excellent. Can't wait for your review. Paul Dergarabedian, Allie, Canal, thank you so much.